Have you ever wondered why you see a new product and just instantly love it, while another one just looks, well, wrong? Is that just a matter of taste? Or is there actually a science behind it? Well, let's get into it, because it turns out there is a hidden formula, and researchers think they've cracked the code.
I mean, just look at these two examples. On the one hand, you have the Apple iMac. Its design was so different, so bold, it literally changed the game for personal computers. A total icon. And then, there's the Ford Edsel. Ford thought this was going to be a massive hit, but its unique look just came across as odd. It became a legendary, spectacular failure.
So what separates an icon from a total flop? Is it just luck? A roll of the dice for designers? Or could there be some kind of underlying, predictable formula that explains why we fall in love with some designs and just reject others? Well, that is the mystery we are going to solve. All right, so if there is a formula for good design, how on earth do you even start to measure it? I mean, we're talking about something that feels totally subjective, right? Well, a group of researchers decided to take on that exact challenge, to try and quantify the unquantifiable. And this is really the heart of the problem. Your reaction to how a product looks feels personal. It feels emotional. It's a gut feeling. So how do you stick a number on a gut feeling? For the longest time, people thought you couldn't, which is why aesthetics was kind of pushed to the side in serious market analysis.
But the breakthrough came from this just enormous study of the U.S. car market. Get this. They gathered data on 202 different car models from 33 different brands over 8 straight years. We are talking about a mountain of data, which gave them the power to finally see patterns that were totally invisible before.
Okay, so they had the sales data, but how do you turn the look of a car, its shape, its headlights, into cold, hard numbers? Well, they came up with this brilliant technique for basically decoding a car's face. It's called the morphing technique. What they did was identify 50 key points on the front of each car, the corners of the headlights, the shape of the grille, that kind of thing. Then they used software to digitally average all those points together, creating a single prototypical car for each category.
So for instance, they could take every economy car from one year, morph them all together, and poof, you get this image of what the average economy car looked like. It's like a visual blueprint. And once you have that blueprint, you finally have a baseline to measure any individual car against.
And this is where it gets really cool. This technique led them to their first huge discovery, something we can call the Goldilocks principle of design. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right.
The key metric here has a fancy name. Segment Prototypicality, or SP for short. But all it really is a score for how close a car's design is to that average look for its category. A high SP score means it looks very typical. A low SP score means it looks really unique.
And here's the kicker. You might think that more unique is always better, right? Well, nope. Turns out, consumer preference actually peaks for designs that are only moderately typical. If a design is too unique, we think it's weird. If it's too average, it's just boring. That sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone, is right there in the middle. But wait, it gets even more fascinating. Because that just right formula, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The rules of the game change completely depending on whether you're selling a luxury car or an economy car. To understand this, we need one more metric, brand consistency, or BC. It's exactly what it sounds like. It measures how much a new car model looks like the other cars from its own brand. Think of it like family resemblance. When you see a new Ford, does it immediately scream Ford to you?
And check this out. This is where the strategy splits right in two. For economy cars, the winning formula is to look moderately typical for the category. In other words, to fit in. But you also want to look a little distinct from your own brand's other models. For luxury cars, it's the complete opposite. You need to stand out from the other luxury cars, but look very consistent with your own premium brand. It's all about being recognizable.
The researchers also found this one other little trick that designers use, a third strategy called cross-segment mimicry. This is basically when a product in one category starts to, well, borrow the look of a product from a more expensive one. And guess what? It totally works. There is a clear copycat advantage. When an economy car looks just a little bit like a luxury car, we tend to like it more. I mean, who doesn't love getting that expensive look for a bargain price? So, this is all cool psychology, but how does it actually affect the bottom line for these companies? Well, these design choices aren't just about looking good. They have a direct and totally measurable impact on profits. See, design directly impacts how much we're willing to pay. The more typical a car looks, the more we focus on the price, it just becomes a commodity. But the more on-brand it looks, the less price matters to us, and the more effective their ads become. A strong visual identity gives companies real pricing power.
And we're not talking small amounts. They actually put a number on that power. The study found that, on average, a consumer is willing to pay an extra, get this, $3,255 for a luxury car that hits that perfect sweet spot of brand consistency. That is the cold hard cash value of good design.
The researchers even tested their model with a what-if scenario for the Ford Fusion. A super unique design that risks scaring away buyers. A super average one that's boring and it makes people focus only on the price. But that second design, the one in the middle, it hit that moderately typical sweet spot perfectly, and the model predicted it would be the most profitable.
It's the perfect proof. The winning design isn't about being the most radical or the most bland, it's about being the one that's just right.
And look, we've been talking a lot about cars, but this is so much bigger than that. Once you know this formula, I'm telling you, you will start to see it absolutely everywhere.
Think about it. Smartphones need to look familiar, but with their own flair. Smartwatches have to look like a watch, but still signal their brand. Kitchen appliances, handbags, it's all about that same fundamental tension, that constant dance between fitting in and standing out.
So, the next time you find yourself drawn to a new product, take a second and look closer. Is its design appealing to you by pure chance? Or is it carefully following a hidden formula designed to be perfectly, scientifically, just right?